see the bans. Jinsoo has been on ban Odd Rogue all tournament long, and it's been kind of a shaky road for him, but I feel like the lineup here for Tansoku is more the thing that Jinsoo's looking for.
To know how it interacts with these decks that it's coming up against, but I'll be curious to see how it plays out very soon. And we're gonna looks like we're gonna lead out with the Hunter from Tansoku. It is gonna be that Q block, the big question mark in the lineup for me for Jinsoo that he's gonna lead out with.
Yeah, I do have a bit of a concern for the aggressive potential from Tansoku, but the hybrid hunter builds, they're not quite the same as just the straight up tempo versions with Master's Call, and they have like Timberwolves and all sorts of nonsense in there. They rely a lot on Spellstone to get a big portion of the job done. A handful of secrets early on for Tansoku is one of the draws I think that he can get together that doesn't really do anything to Jinsoo's side. And here, even with Tansoku's draw, Animal Companion, Flanking Strike, and left needing a little bit of help if he's going to make some progress here.
Yeah. We saw Jinsoo, previous series, I believe, that we cast, he held on to a Librarian in a very similar situation as this because he wanted to use it as a Defile activator, but the big difference was that he was staring at Defile in his hand at that point, and now you can see the rarely seen turn 1 rope since the days of Life Coach, leaving Hearthstone. Jinsoo really deep on the tank and whether he wants to play that Kobold Librarian, and decides in the end he's going to hold on to it yet again.
Yeah, I do think I like holding on to it, and this is like a sort of a discovery moment for me where I have just pretty much played this card automatically on turn 1, especially if I
Spellstone, right? Yeah, it's so appealing.
But with having Prince Tal'Darim be the only 3 cost card, with you not being able to ever really play Mountain Giant on turn 3, and with Doomsayer Defile as the only other cards that'll fit into that spot, I think it makes a lot of sense to just go ahead and hang on to it and wait, because on turn 3, how often are you going to Prince Tal'Darim a minion? It's going to happen sometimes, but it's not going to happen too often. So in this spot, you get the life tap, you get a Kobold Librarian here. If you happen to find a Defile and it worked out, good. If you found another Spellstone, you get to buff that up too. Yep. I think this is a line of play I was not familiar with until this tournament.
Animal Companion number 2.
To my side.
Oh,
beefy board.
Where's your huffer?
Yeah.
It's 2 sleepy Mishas, but they'll do for now. They're definitely continuing to ramp up the damage. Jinsoo does have a couple of roadblocks now. He has 1 buff on that Spellstone, of course, because of the Kobold he played previous turn. And Corpse Taker can be jammed down in the way as well.
Yeah, this is the worry I've had for Jinsoo as well. It's just, early, well-statted minions are a problem for Cube Warlock. Both of these Mishas outside of Hellfire Rage. The Corpse Taker threatening to get punished by, just the links that's sitting in Tansoku's hand that Jinsoo knows about. The Mountain Giants threaten to just get pushed through and too much damage falling to Jinsoo's side. Like, everything is falling apart, and it's turn 4.
I think the good news for the Corpse Taker is that it's a 4-mana turn and not 5. Like, Links and Flanking Strike, if that was a possibility on the follow-up turn, that might just be lights out, because both these Mishas connecting face again, even with the one-off heal from the lifesteal, is just not going to be good enough.
Yeah, I think, another issue to be looking at is, how does Jinsoo actually even get out of that? It should be a 4-1 and a 4-4 left over, like in one of the best case circumstances you're going to face.
Right.
And that's if Tansoku doesn't Flanking Strike. I think Flanking Strike and attack is a very real play.
I think it is too. Yep.
I think you take everything into account.
Whoa!
I think Mountain Giant's correct, because I think it's Mountain Giant use the Spellstone to race. This is what you do versus Odd Rogue. Doesn't work out very well, but sometimes it does. When it works.
That was going to be my follow-up question. This is what I do versus Odd Rogue. And your win rate is?
Well, it's about 40%, man.
Okay,
I'll
all right.
take that.
Yeah, take it.
You got the Giant, slap it down, then blow some stuff up. Try to hit him.
You want to just Flanking Strike that thing? Get a 3-3?
I'm looking very much at hero power. Jinsoo's down to 9, and you have a kill command in hand. Now, the question for me is the beasts on the side of this. I think I'm a big fan of the Dire Mole and at least 1 Lynx in this spot. Maybe it's double. Double Lynx seems a bit weird to me because of the way that Defile's going to interact.
Yeah, I was just thinking of Defile implications for playing a 1-3 and a 1-1, and I don't think there really are any severe ones. Jinsoo would need a 2 to bridge that gap, and 2 is not a number that the Q-Block really does in terms of being able to play minions from their own hand to then Defile away.
Yeah, I think it's just the full Monty.
Yeah, I like it.
When in doubt, play more stuff.
I mean, you say play Giant and race, but you can't race when two of your opponent's most threatening minions have Taunt. Like, that just doesn't work.
It's not yet.
Not yet. Hold on.
So many.
Let me just stabilize for about 6 turns, and then I'll raise.
This is a big removal on board for Jinsoo. I mean, he gets to wipe out his potential to wipe out both Mishas and go back up to 14 here, and you still have an 8-4 in play.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons that Tansoku plays for the tempo in this spot, is to, chip away a little bit more damage and perhaps get flanking strike in.
This is why I wondered about the flanking strike on the previous turn, because it felt like this would be, this turn, turn 5, would be the turn where you ended up trading the Giant. So by flanking striking on the previous turn, you develop 1 extra power, have the Giant be at 1 health here in the same situation, and you can just play your links out with a nice curve on the following turn.
Something else to consider is that Tansoku saw that Jinsoo held on to Kobold Librarian and didn't play it till turn 3. Like, at that point, it becomes a little bit more clear to me that Jinsoo is looking specifically for Spellstone, and it's more likely that it's buffed up in that situation because of the fact that it was held.
Okay.
So, playing to your opponent having specifically Spellstone in hand might have just been a better option. And now I'm seeing Corpse Taker. But Jinsoo's got to do something to fend off life total, or it's just dead.
This could be Hellfire Doomsayer turn as well.
You shoot 9, you drop to 7. That's so threatening, the kill command.
If you go to 9, you're chilling at 9. 9's plenty.
Well, your opponent untaps the hero power to you, and then what do you do? Like, you just have nothing in hand that heals.
You have Dark Pacts.
You just gotta play minion for that.
Living the dream.
Sort of heal package, or Jinsoo's going to say, you know what, I just can't beat kill command anyway. Which I think that accepting that you can't defeat kill command, that's a very reasonable option at this stage.
All right. Crazy left field ideas that occur to me. No, it's nonsense. It's too left field. I've already talked myself out of it.
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, and you never will.
Let this moment be known that Sottle had the dumbest thought that he's ever had.
Everyone has dumb ideas. The key is just not verbalizing.
Well, there are no dumb ideas, just dumb people. We established this with Raven. Too harsh?
Raven has a lot of dumb ideas. Oh, wait, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Right, yeah, that makes sense. Too harsh, he says. Who are you talking to?
That's the biggest grin on his face I've ever seen. Well, the jig is up now. Tansoku has played the hand very face up.
I'll put my cards on the table as well. I started this turn thinking Tansoku had 7 mana, so I was thinking about just committing the Tundra Rhino for charge damage, which would actually play around small amounts of healing. But because he was only on 6, you'd have to skip the hero power to do that, which just made it complete nonsense.
So this looks weird, but Jinsoo's actually using the least valuable card in hand to get this done. The intent is Corpse Taker with Prince Taldaram on the following turn. I'm staring at 4 damage, and it's going to pretty much leave him in the same scenario for Jinsoo, that is.
Yeah.
And this is 4 damage a number of ways.
Yeah, I want to see the Hyena come down instead of the hero power, I think.
Just for development's sake?
Yep.
If your opponent has another Spellstone, why not?
Right.
Get something out of it.
Right. If it's a 3 attack, if it's a 3 damage Spellstone, then, you're getting a whole extra minion surviving on the board that way. Oh,
so
sorry, if it's a 5 damage Spellstone.
So Jinsoo's like, gotta draw Ziliax in this spot then?
It looks that way, yeah. Yeah, it seems right. Because since that first Spellstone was used, I believe the Hellfire has been cast, so a second Spellstone that's in hand would be at 5 right now. So this way you punish your opponent for Spellstoning your 5 attack Tundra Rhino, your 5 house Tundra Rhino.
That's game 1 over to Tansoku. Pretty straightforward game as far as the the way the matchup pans out is concerned. Tansoku just had good early minions. Jinsoo didn't have good early beats.
Yep, and pretty major breakpoints in that matchup, I think, but the biggest one situation where if you qualify for championships and you're not one of the players that's already qualified for Worlds, then you're almost auto through at that point because there's potentially so many of them there. We could see Tyler coming back, like all this kinds of business going through, but repeat championship competitors are kind of one step down from that, and we've seen so many of those throughout the last year or two as well, that it becomes incredible, and it does become a testament that, you know, kind of flies in the face of the popular perception of card games, that, you know, you can't be consistent in them, that they don't reward skill, they don't reward hard work, they don't reward dedication. Well, tell that to the ever-growing list of players that keep making it back to the end stages of year-long tour events over and over again. And then shut up.
I'm not going to tell that to him.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to do it. Cloning Priest versus the Q block from Jinsoo, and this is a matchup that
deep breath, inhale.
It's not favored for Jinsoo, to put it kindly. Although there are some variations where it works out very well, and as Sottle has been talking about, you know, pretty passionately throughout the last few rounds, Jinsoo's been drawing a lot of Skull of the Minari.
Yep. Tell me more. I speak fluent Admirable right now, so the first threat check comes out from Jinsoo. It's the Mountain Giant that comes down, and the check is answered with the Shadow Word Death. They don't always have it. It's very, very light on spot removal, is Cloning Priest. Sometimes even omitting Shadow Word Pains and Deaths entirely. And so Tansoku can count himself quite fortunate to be able to jam that death straight away, but you saw him just kind of, you know, brush his hair back in frustration as the skull comes down, because you know it just complicates your game plan so much. Q-Block is just a different deck when they have that skull in play.
It definitely is, and at this point with the skull, you know, being active and Jinsoo having some real pressure here, I think you're looking at some turns with Tansoku that are going to get quite uncomfortable. Now, I'd say one of the big benefits is that the cloning gallery is starting to become quite strong right now. 3 of the minions already gone from the 10 minion count deck for Tansoku. And that means that right now, just one Mind Blast is a 10 damage hit from back if cloning gallery gets drawn. And that to me is a really big deal, because Velen's about to get into the pool.
Yep.
But the damage is really building up behind this with Jinsoo.
Yeah, and it also, you know, that Mind Blast becomes 10 damage just off Eternal Servitude now as well, and that leaves plenty of mana spare to be able to throw out more spells behind that as well.
Yeah.
This is just kind of the luxury that Cloning Priest does have of just, well, I'm not really under too much pressure currently. I just play my Velen and say go. And if you as my opponent does not have a transform effect, there's not really a scenario you can create that I'm unhappy with. Either you leave my Velen alive, then I have a Velen, or you kill it off and it becomes cheaper to replay than it was the first time.
Yeah, I think Jinsoo needs to really consider the ignore this Velen and try to kill Tansoku plan. And that's a very tough thing to do, because when Velen's in play, Spirit Lash becomes big. The threat of damage is very real, so on and so forth. And given that the Kobold is drawn, you know, that plan does change a bit with the Spellstone.
Yeah, I think this Spellstone's just too juicy.
Yeah.
Spellstone and a Divine Shield to kill a Prophet Velen?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Well, you know, that Spellstone was 3. I was going to ignore the Velen because of that, but when you can bump it up to 5, I mean, you just got to take good plays when they arrive, and now it's
Agreed.
A Radiant gets removed from the pool, so that's, you know, another talking point to that. Tansoku, this Scream was so important, and this is, you know, one of the reasons I want to leave the Velen alive too, is because your opponent cannot Psychic Scream while their Velen's in play. They just can't do that.
See, I have this internal struggle right now. I really don't want to Scream this turn. I want to play Lich King really badly, but the difference maker is that there is just a live Doomguard on the board, and you cannot really mess around leaving live Doomguards hanging around, because then your opponent's deck does all of its most explosive things. We see Jinsoo still has coin in hand, so for example, leaving that Doomguard, Umbra Coin Cube.
Oh, you're dead.
Yeah, good night. Even if you can then Psychic Scream that away, you've taken so much extra damage in the meantime that then you're looking at potentially even Blood Reaper Gul'dan coming through for lethal with more Doomguards later on. But stretching value out of that Psychic Scream was huge, because the Skull is there, and the Skull is going to refill Jinsoo's board so rapidly and so consistently, especially if you Psychic Scream more minions back into his deck, that you really need to stretch out the value of those cards like Psychic Scream, and yeah, tap the Doomguard back into hand. Tansoku's going to find himself right back in a similar position on the previous turn, but now Holy Smite is added to the hand of damage.
17 with Eternal Servitude.
Hmm?
It's, I'm sorry, it's 14 damage. My head
Yep.
had just applied Malagos math. Apologies.
Yeah, it's fine.
I wonder.
I just keep visualizing what the board would look like if Jinsoo had actually left the Velen in play. And there is a worry to leaving up those minions. There is a copy of Vivid Nightmare in Tansoku's deck. So when you leave up one of the big, make your damage spell things even bigger minions, the threat of just copying it and blowing you out is a very real thing. However, that threat's going to be there quite often.
Death Coil is a game-changing outcome here, but he doesn't get it. He gets the Frostmourne. Doomguard popping right out from the right-hand side of the hand will be not what Tansoku wants to see.
19 available for Jinsoo's turn. Wait a minute, there's a Doomsayer left in the deck, so it could be Possessed Lackey, Hellfire. And if you stack a Doomguard...
Oh, there's a
in that-
Doomguard left in the deck.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Doomguard left in the deck. So
Right.
if you Possess Lackey, Hellfire, a Doomguard pull is actually lethal.
Is it?
Yeah, that'd be 18, 19, 20, 21, 24 damage. So right now, just Jinsoo's got 16 in play. You add a Doomguard to that, it'd be 21. The Hellfire deals 3 damage. Oh, there's Lich King in the way. Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid.
Honestly, I had the most confused look on my face for such a long time.
I am the dumbest human on the planet. How did
It's
I
so
just miss that?
It's so unhelpful because I asked you to clarify and you just rapid fired off like 16 different numbers as if I was supposed to follow that. What is this man thinking?
I don't know. He's just talking nonsense.
You must attack the minion with Taunt, Admirable.
Unity. Precision.
Wow. So Doomguard in the pool for that. I'm going to try to say something smart here.
Okay. Ooh. Needed more burn off the top. Not another spell damage, dude. Chances that the giant dies to Mass Hysteria next to 0 without adding in that Holy Smite as well, which then takes away a huge chunk of your win condition. You can see why I really wanted to hold on to that Psychic Scream for as long as possible, right? I don't blame Tansoku for his play, but it's looking like he's going to have to bail out here. Mali Lash will be a full heal.
Well, this also is the full heal into you have a Spellstone with
Correct.
Job's done.
4 different minions dead.
Yes, it's currently Lich King, Gilded Gargoyle, Velen. This will add Mali to it. But the Mali Velen res now only gives him 20 off that single copy of Mind Blast. Oh no, he still kept hold on to the Holy Smite as well. So yeah, he'll be wrapping a ton of damage if he's able to hit those 2 spell damage minions off the res.
Jinsoo has a really interesting spot here. It's 5 with Doomguard, Dark Pact Coin, Blood River Gul'dan. Creates 2 more Doomguards, so it's 15 plus 8 plus 3. 26.
That is a cute play.
I told you I was going to try to say something smart.
Wait, has the Doomguard died previously to this? Didn't it just
Doomguard-
get shuffled?
Doomguard just died, didn't it? To the... Am I crazy here? To the Lich King, right? Taps. I imagine Jinsoo had to be looking for Cube in that spot. I'm like...
Seems the most likely, yeah.
I'm fairly surprised.
They'll serve me.
Ooh.
Yeah, no demon from the deck.
All right. Tansoku has lethal outs right now if he wants to go for them.
With the double Radiant?
Radiance can come down. Gonna go for it. That's 20. That's lethal. He does get the double spell damage rip. Mind Blast, Holy Smite, and that is gonna be a 2-0 lead for Tansoku. Jinsoo pulls the face of all of my co-casters while they're watching any game of Clone Priest, whereas Tansoku pumps his fists in the air like a deck connoisseur on his triple upgraded Spellstone.
Well, it's a definite uphill battle for Jinsoo at this point. Even Paladin, I think, is a heck of a deck versus a lot of what Jinsoo's brought. However, I do think that even Paladin can struggle if it does not have the Corpse Taker draws versus what Jinsoo has. I think that, to me, is one of the biggest factors that Tansoku is going to be looking for. It's either some early game pressure with the big Avenging Wrath follow-ups later in the game,
Right.
or it's going to be about Corpse Taker.
Sorry, I'm looking very perturbed at the screen right now, trying to work out whether I like this hand or not as the even lock player. It's just
Paladin, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, it's the even
new
Paladin
even
player.
Warlock?
Yeah, the new even Warlock. Yeah, bootleg even Warlock player. I mean, one minion, if it lives into Coin Kings, Kings kill you, is looking fairly promising, honestly, from where I stand. Not even standing. What am I talking about? Clearly sit down. Could not be more clearly sitting down. Yeah, there could very well be a Coin Kings into Kings in Jinsoo's future here.
I can't imagine why that wouldn't be happening, to be perfectly honest. I am struggling to find a reason to not Coin Kings. This is the best card versus Cube Warlock, in my opinion.
I've decided I like that hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you like charging Mountain Giant style plays? Okay.
I sure
Good
do.
to know.
Give Mountain Giant charge.
Pretty, decent stop here for Jinsoo, though. The Corpse Taker just absorbs a lot of damage, really.
Yeah.
And that is a really big factor for him to get to a winning position. This matchup, it goes with
Whoa!
Mountain Giant. So, are we once again in the situation where Jinsoo feels that Mountain Giant racing is the way to go?
Dude, I want to go Mountain Giant racing immediately. You're just riding the backs of Mountain Giants.
Well, you may have plenty of time to do that. I think Jinsoo's in a lot of trouble.
I think Jinsoo's real dead. I think he's going to play a taunt and then get Spellbreakered. No, he isn't. Let me fix my face. He's going to recognize that eventuality. Yeah.
This is bad news.
Hey, it's a heads-up play for Jinsoo to keep himself alive, though.
Alive, I think, is like a relative term.
All right,
now.
it's a heads-up play for Jinsoo to keep himself on life support. Okay, there is still power running to the machine.
Okay.
No one's pulled the plug. He is still technically and legally alive. The DNR has not been signed.
Yeah, that's all you. I'll let you handle that one. Jinsoo is in trub. That's the technical term for it.
Trub.
Yeah.
At what point exactly does trouble elevate to trub?
Well, if Jinsoo still had a Defile left, or perhaps a minion in play, or, 5 or so more health, you're in trouble.
Okay.
But when every single board for the rest of the game threatens lethal, that is trub.
Gotcha. I have to be clear. I'm trying to expand my admirable vernacular. I've dropped Huge Draw in here today. I've dropped Threat Check in here. I even dropped Egyptian God card earlier. You got to give me that one. That was pretty good. But trub. That's not a level I've reached quite yet. And the Nathan, that's admirable Zamora lexicon.
Trub does not happen very often. That's the thing. It's quite a rare circumstance for it to happen this early on. And is that just it? 5? It's not quite just it. Avenging Wrath, can it ever end here? Yes, I think it very much does.
Can, yeah.
3, 4, 5, and then it hits 3 to face. That's game.
Yep.
Tansoku is really going to count this about 17 total times, I think.
There's no eventuality where it doesn't work, right? Like, even if it goes 4 to face and then 4 on the minion, but the Corpse Taker lives with 1 health. Yeah, no, that would not be lethal. There are outcomes where it doesn't kill him. There are outcomes where it doesn't kill him.
Good point. So is that just the case where you hold on to the Avenging Wrath equality, just wait there?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
He's in such a favored position from this spot where I don't think he has to take the risk.
Is this even a trade? Tansoku's instinct was to point a trade.
Meh. Face.
That's definitely what I'm thinking right now. That lone copy of Spellbreaker is doing some work.
Makes Consecration lethal off the top. No, I mean, the only way you'd need Consecration to be lethal is if your opponent went Lackey Dark Pact, and then they will have Dark Pacted, so the Consecration wouldn't be lethal anyway. I think the trade 3 is all things considered. Secret is auto defense, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So you would go to 8. I think Jinsoo's going to be another shut your eyes spot here. He's got to worry about eye for an eye too.
Yeah.
You just like poke face. You're like, yeah, well, that'll do it.
You've got to ignore a lot of cards here in Jinsoo's spot. Shut your eyes, pretend they don't exist, say your prayers, eat your vitamins.
This will be a massive.
Shut the eyes indeed. Tansoku can't help but celebrate. 3-0 victory over Jinsoo in this one. Take your pick of how you'd like to do it.
Top deck, yes, get him.
It's been a long road for Jinsoo. I think he's played fantastically, but that has come to an end here as he's fallen just short of that championship berth. But Tansoku, 3-0, big fashion, back